Hi everybody, it's Matthew here. Today it's time for another live tutorial. We're going to be mixing things up a little bit today. You'll soon see, but I've got lots of really big, exciting announcements to make. So it involves pretty much looking at the website, so I'll show you that in a minute, but first things first, I need to tell you, we have finally, after all these years, uploaded all of our gemstones onto the website. Here in the UK, we were super renowned for the quality of our beautiful semi-precious gemstones, and finally, after all this time, we've managed to get them onto the website for you guys to order and buy and enjoy yourself. So there's about 320 different variations of gemstones that we've got on. We are doing a fantastic sale as well. So if you're watching that little thing at the beginning where it ticks along and so forth, I had a little thing that came up, which hopefully actually I can show you it in the ticker just here. Where is it? Turn on little ticker man. What's going on here? No, where are you? Turn that one on, and there, this is the one I'm up. So, yes, if you want to get your gemstones at a bargain, you can have a look down there in the description. We've got a little coupon code depending on each size of bead, each amount that you're sort of getting. So if you spend £25, you'll get a $5 off your gemstones. If you spend £50, you'll get a $10 off your gemstones. So pretty much 20%. If you spend $75, you'll get 15. So again, that's another 20%. But if you get all the way up to £100, which we have some beautiful, beautiful strands, so it's not going to be difficult to get there, you'll save £25. So that's pretty much 25% off at that £100 mark. So if you want to go and get some of those gemstones, I've put the information plus the code down in the description. That's thing number one, but this is really exciting, especially for you guys who are overseas. Maybe not so much for you here in the UK, but if you're in the US, for example, for sure, this next little thing that I'm going to show you, I think you will find is very, very exciting, and you'll be very glad to see it, I'm sure. So I've just got to, come on now, that's the button I need, here we go. I'll just pop this up. So if we have a look at the website real quick. So this is the homepage as per usual, as you've seen many times before. This is something brand new. If you haven't seen it before, right up here at the top, you can choose your currency. So if you're in the US, just click US dollars. We've got it on the mobile menu as well. But yeah, if you say, yeah, I want to have a look at US dollars, when you click on the view all related products, which shows you all of today's gemstones, actually I need to change that link a little, it will take you to the page just here, and you can see everything now is in US dollars. So you won't get charged for the international exchange rate. You won't get any bank fees for paying a different currency. Nothing like that. You can just go on, choose shop like you're in America, and choose the beads that you love, the ones you really like. Come on down. Look, we've got lots and lots. There's garnet there. You can see we've got hundreds of different stones, 300. The sea bamboo, which is the replacement for coral. We've got blood jasper there as well. We've got some red tiger eye, a couple of different strands of that. We've got the ember banded agates. We've got natural red agate. Loads and loads of different things here. The sandstone, also known as goldstone. Carnelian. Look at them. Look how many there are. We've got so many gemstones in stock now. There's 6 pages worth. In fact, I think there's going to be even more by the time this stream is over. But like I said, you can now pay in US dollars or euro or pounds. When you add it to your basket, the whole checkout process is in that currency. So I'll put it back to pounds. You can see we're giving you pretty much the exchange rate of the day. It's all automated as per how much the exchange rate is on a varying day. So that's pretty much all of that there on the website. So really, really exciting news. I know a lot of people will be pleased to see that. Right, let me see who we've got joining us today. So I'll just fade back over. Here we go. So we're just taking an extra minute. We'll be a little bit longer before we get started on the tutorial today. Jermaine's going to be demonstrating for us today. So that's kind of exciting, a bit different, a bit more fun compared to usual. But if we just wait an extra few minutes, she's just preparing herself at the minute. She was a little rushed, but she's going to show you how to knot some gorgeous things, like, for example, this little necklace just here. All of this, it's knotted with beads. Actually, I should show you on the bead mat, shouldn't I? Here we go. Just zoom in a teeny weeny touch. There we go. Pop that nice and central. There we are. So, yeah, if we have a quick little look... Oh, I need to get rid of that ticker, don't I? Get that little fella out of there. There we go. So, yeah, you can see... Oh, no, you can't see me. I'm hiding for some reason. So, yeah, you can see we're going to show you... Jermaine is going to show you how you can really quickly and easily knot these different little beads just here into your finished pieces. So, they're going to look really, really lovely. This particular one, I think, is ultra fantastic just because of how sparkly it can be, because you can mix and match your materials as well. So for example, this one here is in gemstones as well as little seed beads and crystals with knots in between each one. So it's really cleverly made, this one. But hopefully Jermaine will be here nice and soon. She's going to be demonstrating. She's just doing her lipstick at the moment, so she'll only be a moment more. But yeah, here we go. So you can see you'll also learn how to add on this little clasp section at the end there too. And that's all going to be included, plus how to do these little tassels. Right. Finally, I'm going to hop out of the way. I'll just show you the bead mat for 4 seconds while I just swap over, and I'm going to magically become Jermaine. You ready? Here we go. By the magic of television, I'm about to disappear.
Hello everyone, I'm here. It's Jermaine, and it's really lovely to be here with Matthew today. It's probably because I'm the one that does all the knotting around the place. I've always got everyone tied up in knots, and so that's what I'm going to demonstrate to you today. But different to how I usually do it. Those of you that have seen my my pearl knotting video, which is very popular. It's got over 700,000 views because it's a Japanese method and it's perfect for pearls. You can also use it for gemstones too, but I thought I'd show you a different way of doing it, an easy, simpler way. And also those of you that want to make a really long necklace, there is a way of using the 2-meter thread to do it with my method, and one day I'll show it to you. But I thought today I'll show you how to make a longer necklace knotting with using a little bit of tools, not much. So if you like, I'll just get a few bits and pieces together and we can begin. Now, oh, I see Matthew's got the mat down here. If you have a look at these two, I made these two just this week. And the reason I had to do that was because I've lost all of my jewellery. I don't know where it is. We moved during the pandemic and we had to put some stuff in storage. And I've actually been hunting because I've not gone out anywhere at all. So I've actually been hunting for all my strands of lovely pearls, all my gemstones, and they've just vanished into thin air. One day I'm sure they'll turn up, but not today, I'm afraid. So I made these two just this week to demonstrate to you the difference of using different thicknesses of threads in different gemstones, because traditionally gemstones will have a larger hole than a pearl, a much larger hole. So if you were just wanting to make a single strand necklace that would just, you know, fit here like a strand of pearls would, then you can use my method and just use the larger sizes of the silk cord, like you would probably use, you know, 6 or 8, number 6 or number 8. But what I'm doing here is, because I want to make a really long necklace like I've done with this one, where I've put a tassel at the end, and you can see it's really long, because then I can wear it that it comes really low over a jumper or something. So, and even this one here comes down quite long. There's a way of doing it without having to use the 2-meter cords. And that's what I'm going to show you. So what I'm using today is...
Tools are underneath.
Thank you. I'm going to use... Sorry, I'm just a little bit behind today. I'm going to use our high tenacity polyester cord, and I'm using it double because I like double, as you know if you've seen my previous videos. And I've done particularly one here where I've incorporated some little crystals and seed beads, and I haven't had to do too many knots, and I will show you how to do this because this is a really nice, quick and easy method. The other thing which I've done with this necklace is I've used this lovely what's this stone called, Matthew? Aquamarine, sorry. I've used aquamarine and I've used some agates. And the aquamarine is more of an expensive stone, so I've only just used 5 of the beads. Because again, you can be economical when you incorporate other beads, so that your more expensive beads, you don't use so many, and which is actually good if you're selling. Like here, I've only used 5 of the beads, and I think there's quite a lot on the strand. So I can make this one expensive strand go a long way, and by putting in some less expensive, you know, agate and some little crystals and seed beads, I've made it go a really long way. So out of my 2 strands of beads, I could probably get, you know, maybe 4, 5, 6 necklaces, which works out really well. Now, I'll just get some thread and some needle, and I'll begin to show you how I start this, and then we'll get into the swing of it. So I'm going to be doing a different method. Normally I would use, you know, like French wire, if you've seen my previous videos, but this time I'm going to use a culotte clasp, like this little one here. And I'll just run myself out a little bit of thread. Oh, and if you just heard that, I just dropped a whole pile of beads on the floor, but no problem. Okay. Now the good thing about using this finer thread is I can actually get it onto a needle, which is perfect for me. And now I've got 2 different types of needle here. I have a split needle, which, as you can see, splits in the middle, and then you can just pop your thread in. I prefer to use, if possible, just an ordinary beading needle, and I'm using a size 9 beading needle, so it's quite a strong, thick beading needle, and it's got a nice hole that I can get my thread through it. So this is the number 3 that I'm using, but you can also use the number 9 of the polyester. I'll just change my glasses. Now, the high tenacity polyester is a thread that is wound. It's many strands wound together, and it's tightly wound. And it can fray a bit at the ends, but it's super strong, so it's a great alternative to silk when you really want strength. And sometimes gemstones are really heavy, and so you really want that strength. So the key to it is just to condition it with a little bit of wax or thread conditioner if you have, and I particularly do the ends because then I can just get my needle and I can just thread it on easily, and the easiest way to do it is just bury it between your fingers and just slide the needle on, and you can see how it does fray a little bit, so then I just pull it on to the needle. There we go. So now I'm on. It was very easy to put on, but you can, and if the ends get a little bit ratty, I just trim the ends, but it won't be a problem here because I'm going to bring the needle to the middle of my thread, and I've cut myself a really long piece here, which I don't need because I'm not going to demonstrate a great big long necklace, so I think I might cut it a bit short just for demonstration purposes. Have you got my scissors, Matthew?
I don't see.
In the, where's the toolkit? Did Matthew show you
under the
our
tray.
lovely toolkit, which we have? There we go. Now, in our toolkit, we've got a lovely pair of scissors, and we've also got the tweezers. And I'm going to be showing you two different methods today. I'm going to be showing you using the tweezers and also using the needle. So those of you that bought our fantastic toolkit, and quite a lot of you did last week, I thought it's nice for you to know how to use the tweezers as well. So I'm just going to cut this thread a little bit shorter because I'm not going to demonstrate with a great big long necklace. If you wanted to make a nice big long necklace like this, I would cut about 3 meters of thread, and then what I do with it is I fold it in half, and then the needle is in the middle. Okay, so I've got the needle in the middle, and how I'm going to attach this is I'm just purely going to put a knot in the end, and you can just do it by rolling it and making a knot. Once you have got a knot in there, and we want a nice big knot, the other way you can do it is you can just do a little overhand and pop your thread through like you normally do, so that we have a knot. Once I've got one knot, I'm going to make another knot on top of it, and the reason for doing that is because I really want to make a nice big wodge of knots, so that just pop that through there, the middle. I'm going to make a knot on top of a knot. So where's my knot? There it is. I'm making a knot on top of a knot because I want a nice big knot. Here we go. And I'm just going to trim this quite close to the knot. There we go.
We've got another new person. Mary's here. It's her first time from Seal Beach, California.
Oh, how
Lovely.
nice.
Lots of new people today. Thanks for joining us, all of the new people.
Yes.
Don't forget to subscribe, of course.
Yeah, we're not usually so useless as I am today. Okay, what I'm going to do here is a little something different. You can do this on the finer thread. I'm going to thread on a tiny little seed bead, and then I'm going to make like a stop bead out of it. And I'm going to take the needle back through it again. You can see there's my knot, and I'm going to just bring up my thread. Now with the 210D thread, as I've said to you, it has a little bit of a life of its own because it's wound. So another thing that I do is I will condition it, which I'll show you that in a minute. But you can see here now I've got my knot and I've got my little seed bead, and then I'm going to thread on here a culotte. Now the culotte is going to sit this way, so I need to thread it on so that it sits that way. So it needs to come on this way, and then once I've got it on, now normally what I would do is I will put a tiny drop of glue in there, but I won't do that today, and I usually just tuck that little knot down in there. Then I'll come in with my pliers, and you can do it with your hands, And literally all you need to do is just bring the two together. Now this culotte, and it's important when you purchase a culotte that you get this style. If you see here at the tip, when the two tips come together, you have a soldered circle. Sometimes you can get them where they're loose, and you just roll them over like you would perhaps like a jump ring. Don't get those, because the problem is they always come undone. They're holding all the weight of your bracelet or necklace, and you'll have a sorry result. Your clasp will come off. This way my clasp isn't going to come off. Now how I attach my clasp to this, which I'll do one right now, is I have here a little jump ring. You can also use an oval ring. Oval rings are even better because the opening is at the side, and unfortunately I just don't have one to hand, and that way the clasp is never anywhere near the join. But I just open it. Now I like to open it with 2 sets of tools. Open it forward and back. Just thread it through the end of your culotte, thread this on, and then just bring it back and close it again. And when you close them, here I'll get in shot, you just go forward and back a cat's whisker so that it springs into place. Nice firm close. And there's my clasp finished and done. I told you this is an easy method today. The next thing I'm going to do is, because I'm using the finer thread, now if I was using the thicker thread, you start it exactly the same way, except you omit the seed bead, because a lot of the times the seed bead you can't double back through on the thicker thread. And I always like to do double, because I know I've got lots of thread in there. It's important that the holes are filled. So you can see here I've got quite a large knot here either side of my beads, and I've knotted between every bead, and this is where I've used the thicker thread. And you can see with the clasp I've just gone straight in with a lovely big knot here at the end, and inside here there's just lots and lots of knots. There's no seed bead. So that's the difference with the thicker thread. But when you've got a gemstone and you only want to use gemstones and they've got a large hole, that's the key to that. So you start it off, as I said, exactly the same way as this. But because I'm using the finer thread, because I want to incorporate some crystals as well as my gemstones, I'm just going to, and this is what's great about having a needle, is I'm just going to thread on a seed bead. And then I'm going to bring it right down, and I'm going to put a knot right here. Now there's 2 ways of doing knots, and I'll show you the 2 different ways. I'll start off by showing you how to use the tweezers, and then I'll show you how to use the needle if you don't have the tweezers. These are specialist tweezers that come in the kit, in our tool kit, and you can see they've got a very, very fine point. They're almost like a needle point, and they're perfect for knotting. So the easiest way to do this, and make sure when you do this, get your scissors out of the way, because there's nothing worse, there's nothing worse than catching your thread on the scissors and breaking the thread. So I'm just going to simply make a loop, which if I do it down here, you can see I'm simply making a loop. And then I'm going to take my needle, which I'll hold it in my hand. So I've made a loop, and then I'm just going to take my needle, so it's just a simple overhand knot, and I'm taking my needle 3, and see how I've got the 2 threads. And now you can see here I've got my loops, I've got my base thread, and to use the tweezers, what you do is you just put your tweezers completely through this loop. See that? And then I'm going to, and I usually do it with my left hand, and then I'm going to grasp with the end of the tweezers, and I'm going to hold very firmly this little bead where I want my knot to go. Then it's simply a matter of pulling, and you can see that on the cord. Pull, 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 and I can pull it quite firmly. But once I get right to the end, because obviously the tweezers are in there, and so when I take it out, oops, when I take them out, there's still a little bit of a knot left there. So how I get rid of that is by then grabbing the thread with my tweezers, and then I can just pull up. And now you can see I've got my knot very, very close to my little seed bead, and that's holding everything in place there. So now I can just start stringing on my gemstones. And if you look here, I've started here. Now, doing it this way with the crystals, you don't need to knot between every single bead. I mean, you can if you want to, but that's what the seed bead does. By me using a seed bead pretty much the same color as my thread, the seed bead can sort of act as a knot, which is great. So for example, I'll just pull up, and I'm using some 2 by 2.5 little crystals here, and I've got a few seed beads. And then literally all I'm going to do, which as you can see here, is I'm just going to string on some crystals and some seeds, and crystals and some seeds. What did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I often find at the back of your necklace, especially with gemstones, like see for example with this one, if we get down here, see with this one, the back of my necklace, I've put all smaller stones, and I didn't bring in the larger focal stones until I got sort of around the side of my neck, because there's no use putting large focal stones around the back of your neck. It's a waste of an expensive stone, and whereas the agates that I've used here make it a little bit more comfortable around my neck. So in a way I'm doing the same here with the crystals, but so, and I'll just show you 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what I have done with this is, okay, I'll just do a smaller one. So I've got them here, and I'm going to slide them down. Now what I worked out with is, because the gemstones have got a larger hole, pardon me, I'm using those seed beads to fill up the hole. So for example, if I put a knot right next to this bead, it's not going, the knot's just going to go straight inside. So by tricking it, by making my knot next to my little seed bead, it means that it's not going to go through the inside the hole on my gemstone. So I'm sort of cheating a little bit. So again, I'm just going to do a knot after this seed bead. So again, just like before, a loop, go through the loop with your needle so that you can see I've got a big loop there. I'll do it again with the tweezers. Tweezers go straight through. I hold it with my less dominant hand, but I mean, you find your own way, what's best for you. See, I'm holding the bead up nice and close, and I'm squeezing quite tightly and holding firmly with the tweezers, and then I can just pull this up, and all I'm literally doing is pulling it up. Once I get it pretty much all the way, the knot is still a little bit loose, so if I've made a mistake, I can still get in there and pull it out if I need to, and then I can just come in with the tweezers, slide it up, oops, pull it in nice and tight with those tweezers. And the nice thing about this is you can take your time. The other thing you can do, because I've got 2 threads, you can also cheat and you can pull them apart so that you get a fantastic knot really up close. You can see that nice tiny little knot up close. Now, I wouldn't be able to use the thicker thread with this because I'm using crystals. The great thing about using the crystals is I can really pad out the design, because the crystals are very inexpensive. You know, they're only a few pounds a strand, and then but they will enhance my gemstones, and I don't need to use so many. So now the other thing I found to do, because if you watch here, I'll just show you this. If I did the knot with the seed bead on this side, and if I can find the hole in this bead, which, look at, there it is. Now I'll just pop this on. See, it just goes straight over that knot. So I've lost my knot. There was no need for knotting. And the reason we knot is to protect our stones, because they can scratch. Depends on how hard your stone is. Stones have many different hardnesses. So, you know, you can put stones of similar hardness next to each other and they won't scratch each other. But if you put a stone which is really delicate, like for example a pearl, next to a gemstone, the gemstone can scratch it when they rub together. So the key here is to thread on another seed bead. I've knotted because my knot is now between those two seed beads, and now when I thread on my bead, hey presto, the seed bead is stopping it from moving, and it saves me having to use a thicker thread. So you can see there is a little bit of method in my craziness. So now to do the other side of this, I'm just going to simply put on another seed bead, and then I'll do another knot. So once you get into the swing of it, it's quite quick and easy. I've made my loop. Remember, tweezers through the loop, hold them in place down here. I always do this slowly because it's better to go slow, because it takes a very long time sometimes to unpick a knot if you've fluffed it. So hold that firmly. Again, just pull it on up, get it reasonably firm, and then just slide it up. And you can see now we've got some great knots. So with my necklace here, basically you can see, if you look closely here, the knots. I haven't done too many, so it was actually quite quick to make this. You can see there's a knot here and there's a knot here. So I actually, and then here when I've done lots of gemstones, you see I've just done a knot between every one of these little two sets of beads. So it's just looks like a simple strung necklace, but in actual fact you've done a really nice knotted piece. The nice thing about knotting is it's so fluid and lovely, and you can't get that if you're using a wire, and even sometimes with thread you've got the security of the knotting. So now I'll show you how to knot this, not using the tweezers but just by using a needle. I'm sorry, I don't know. So, hello, sorry to be late because this is so helpful, and now I have to leave early. Oh, Eugenia, glad to watch Jermaine. Oh, thank you, Eugenia. Well, you can watch me later, but just forget the bits where I lost the thread completely. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, again, I've brought down my seed bead, and I can just pop on another bead like I've done here. So you can see in this little row of 3. Hang on a second, Matthew would just like his tea. There you go, dear. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Excuse me. See, there's my Leonardo mug. He's much bigger now. He's 18 months. And gallivanting around Sicily, having a lovely time. Okay, so, right, so now I'll thread on another one of my beads. Oh dear, where's the hole? There it is. Okay. So now I'll show you how to not using the scissors. So, not using the tweezers. So what I have here is, where's my other needle? Here we go. So I've got this needle already attached to this one here, so I can use this needle at the moment. Right. So again, just make your knot as usual. Okay, and the difference is here is you just get your needle. Now this is a size 9 needle. It's a very strong needle. These ones are made from, what are they made from, Matthew? They're steel or something, our needles?
Yeah, the tempered steel.
Tempered steel. So they're very, very strong. I like these because they've got a nice size hole, and for things like this they're perfect. But because they're so strong, see, I can put this inside exactly the same way as we did with the tweezers. You put it inside the loop. But what I do here is when I push it up against the bead, I actually bury it into the bead mat. Then I can just pull it up as I did before. This time I really just pull hard on here because this is a little bit finer than the tweezers. When I pull it out, then I just put it in place with my fingers, or the other thing you can do, because this is a 2-strand method, is you can pull them apart. And you can see here I've also got my knot. There it is there. It's a very tiny little knot. And of course, if you remember, I forgot to put the seed bead on. So there you have it. So look, the bead just goes through. Never mind, happy mistake. I'll put the seed bead over the top. And I'll do another knot, because this will just bury inside the bead. See, no mistakes in jewelry making, just
happy accidents.
Happy accidents. Okay, so now again, I'll show you that again. Needle in, push it up straight from there, pull it up tight. See, and you can see I'm sort of pushing and pulling at the same time, getting it nice and tight, and then I can just pull it up with my finger, and there it is. Fortunately, you can still slightly see the one on the other side, but it doesn't matter. Oops, there we go. So that's how you use the needle method. Now, and I'll just do a little bit more, just so that you can sort of watch me quietly, and maybe if there's anybody got any questions or anything, now's the time to ask or chat. Have we got many people on YouTube today?
I think there's about 50.
Oh, lovely, lovely. All the usual people. Is Wayne here today?
I haven't seen Wayne and I haven't seen Jan.
Oh, that's a shame. Oh, well, when you do come on, say hello. They'll catch it later. Okay. So I'll just do a couple more beads just so that you can see. And also too, exactly the same way, I'll put on one of the larger ones as well, so that you can just see it's absolutely no different at all whatsoever. But as I said, if you're using the thicker thread, you can actually just use the thread. You don't need seed beads. You can just knot in between all of them. Do this one with the tweezers. Hold it, grab it, pull it, and then slide it. So you can see it's got, oh, I did it again, I forgot the seed bead. I'm really not having a good day today at all. So what I'll show you now then is, because I think you've got the idea of how to make the knots, which it's really quite simple. As I said, I'll show you, I'll put a larger bead on. What I did in my necklace here is I actually put a little crystal beside it, but I still did the knots on the outside. So I was doing the knots between the seed beads. Here we go.
Eugenia says, you make that look so easy.
Actually, Eugenia, you know what? It is easy. It really is easy. It's not difficult at all. It's just getting in. I mean, like the black necklace, I made it this morning. That's why I was just running a little bit late, because I just had to glue up the tassels and then have a comfort break before I came on, because I literally just finished this at 3 o'clock. And I made it this morning. It didn't take long. It really didn't take long. What took the most time was actually choosing the gemstones, and that was the fun part. The nice thing is I knew I was making it for myself, so I might have chosen some nice ones. And don't forget, we've got our gemstone sale on this weekend. How long's it on for, Matthew?
Until next Sunday.
Oh, so you're going to leave it on for the whole week?
Yeah, why not? We usually give things a week, because often there's interesting things next week. We'll say, you know.
Okay, all right.
Let's people get 2 bites of the apple.
2 bites of the apple.
Never mind.
That was a bit beyond me. Okay, so you can see here I've just put a little a crystal. If you didn't want to put the crystal, you could just go straight in with the seed bead, and again then I've put in a crystal and another seed bead. So you don't need necessarily to knot every single bead, which actually makes it nice and quick and easy. However, as I said, with the black one that I made this morning, I actually knotted between every bead. But once you get into the swing of it, it's actually quite quick. There we go. So that's pretty much how we've done that. Now, the other thing I can show you is, which I'm not particularly set up for it, is, but I can maybe just talk you through how I've done this particular necklace. You know how to do the clasp, so that's easy. As I said, when you're using the thicker thread, with the finer thread, I just went through a little seed bead to make a stop and I glued it. With the thicker thread, because I just like to do double. You don't have to do double. You can do this method with single thread, but I'm a fan of really good knots because they actually add, I think. You want to see, especially when you've got, like here where I've got some really beautiful stones, you really want to see the threads, and so you can see I've knotted between every one. Now what you can also do too, which is, here's a little trick I'll tell you. When you finish knotting, you can just give them a little roll like this, and that helps to even them out, so that if they're like a little bit wonky, you can even them out. The other thing I didn't tell you too, which I think is really crucial when you're using the thicker thread, and is to wax it. And the way to wax it, and I've got one here I can show you. Now this is one in where I'm using the thinner thread, because I started off making this with thinner thread, and then I decided, and with seed beads, but then I decided, see, because if you look here,
wow, that's a good bead.
Yeah, there's some really nice beads in this. I love this strand. That's why I chose it for myself. If you look here with the knots, they're almost the same size as the seed bead. So you can sort of cheat a little bit by using the thicker thread, by using a little seed bead, and you can see I've got a tinier knot here. But I realized that as I was going to make this all with just gemstone, I decided to use the thicker thread and not bother with the seed beads at all. So if you're going to do that, as I said, you make a big wodge of knots inside here, just like we did before without the seed bead, glue it, and then you can continue on your merry way. And I always start here with a nice big knot to hold everything in place before I continue on with the beads. The other thing that I did with the thicker thread is I used a split needle in the middle, which again you just pop your thread in, and I think I measured, because this one here I made it in two separate sides, and I'll talk you through how I did this. It's so simple. I made this in two separate sides, so just like before, I started at this end, I knotted down all the way, just adding in the beads. And a nice way again with this, and this is something that I had to work out, is I think in this particular strand of beads, I don't have one to hand, but I think it had like maybe 24 beads or something like that in it from memory. And so I wanted to make sure that I had enough, because I've made this, as you can see, really long. I wanted to make sure that I had enough, so I just did a little bit of math, and I worked out what was the maximum I could put each side. The other thing I worked out is how many of the black added beads I had, so that I had enough left over to make my tassel at the end, and how many I could put in my tassel. So just little things like that. Once I'd made my first side, I think I counted up that I needed 25 of these beads for that one side of my necklace. So then I knew I needed 25 for the other side. So I think I had about 46 or 48 left over. So as I knew I'd have 4 tassels, I needed just to divide that by 4. So I knew I could do at least 10 of these beads for each of my tassels. So little things like that, just a little bit of forethought when you're using your gemstones, means that you can get out what you need. And of course I had still plenty of these left over, which after doing all of this, I've still got tons of beads left over that I've got enough to do a bracelet if I want to. So I'll probably continue on later on with this one and just make it a little bracelet, just using the finer thread, just because I have leftover beads. But of course, you know, if you're making to sell, then obviously by doing the little bit of math beforehand really you know, means that you make your beads go a lot further and you get more money for your, you know, or more bang for your buck. Right, so I'll just talk you through how I did this. It was very simple. You know now how to do the sides. Easy peasy, you know how to do the knots. If anybody wants me to redo the knots, please just leave a comment and I'll do some more if you'd like to see it. Once I'd got down to here, I had, because don't forget, I've got double strands, so I've got, and with a loop at the end of each of them, I literally tied them together in a little knot. So I put my knot at the end of these 2 beads, and then just here I did a double knot and tied my 4 threads together, which was actually 2 lots of double thread. I then went through this bead and then I tied all the knots together there again. So you can see that was simple. That holds this all firmly in place. So there's nothing difficult about that. Then to do my tassels, well, you can see I had 2 double strands. So I just cut the needle off at the end and I had 4 strands to thread. So it was simply a matter of 4 single strands. So I put a needle on the end of each. I threaded on my beads. Now in this instance, because it was a single strand, I just simply, and actually I'll see if I can show you, I just put a seed bead on the end, went back through, and then I did some knots here. I'll see if I've got a bit of thread. I'll see if I can show you how I did that, because that's really simple. And the thing is, it looks like a really nice professional finished piece that you would spend a lot of money on. So look, let's just pretend that this is where the tassel's going to be, and I'll dig up some beads. Actually, this will be nice. I'll thread on some crystals, and I've got a seed bead for the end, and actually maybe a little gemstone as well. Okay, so I'm going to put my tassel, we'll pretend tassel, on the end of here. So I'll just get my needle, which this is double thread, but remember you'll be doing it on a single thread. So because they're our 4 threads we've got left at the bottom, so I'm just going to thread on a seed bead. Then I'll thread on my tassel beads, and you know, these in this instance were the 4 mil, I think they're agate, I think they were, I'm not sure if they're agate or onyx, I have to have a look. Hopefully they're agate. Okay, so we'll pretend here's our tassel length. Slide this down, if you could imagine that. Then I'll put on my enormous bead at the end of the tassel, and then what I simply did was thread on the seed bead. Now I had just some seed beads which were the same color as the thread, and because the thread's quite thick, you know, not all of them went through, so I just fished around to find one that went through easily. There wasn't difficult. Then anyone who's done bead weaving will understand how I did this. I simply just went back through this bead. Now, to get my thick thread back through here with the needle was quite tricky. So I simply, if you hold your little seed bead at the end, pull this up, and if you keep holding that, there we go. Now see, that's nice and firm at the end. There's my tassel. And simply with this, now if you can go through your beads, you can continue doing this on a few beads, but with the thicker thread, not necessarily with the thinner thread, you can. I'm literally just going to do like a blanket stitch at the end, which is simply, and this is exactly how we do it in when we're doing the pearl knotting, you literally just make a loop over the top, and you can see it is sitting on top of the thread. I'm just going to hold it in place. I'll bring my needle up through the back, so that what's going to happen is the thread is going to come on the front and the back of this bead, if you see that. So you can see that, and then when I pull it up, 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 and then I've got a really good knot here. Now what I did do, unfortunately, is I've caught it twisted around that bead, but that's not a problem. I can just unhook that. Normally you would do it in one foul swoop, and you wouldn't be fluffing about like I'm trying to show it to you. So all I have to do is just scoot that down over the bead. Pardon me. And then once I've got that, I can just pull it up. There we go. There it is. So now that's got a really nice, neat and tidy little knot there, and that's holding everything in place. What you can do is, if you can, and now I couldn't get back through these beads, so I have just simply used some glue. It's quite dark, you probably can't see it. I've literally just glued that, and then once it's dry, I have trimmed it quite close. And again, I could do that here, but chances are, if I can manage to get back through the bead, fix that up. I'll have a go if I can. Yep, there you go, that's up. Now if I can manage to get through the bead, I can go through a couple more beads, pull it up, and then do that little overhand knot again. Now see how these threads, there's two threads. Well, obviously you would be doing this with one thread, but if you're using two threads and you're finding you need them to stay sort of put, just by using a bit of wax, see the difference? That sort of keeps them together. I like to use natural wax, it's beeswax, because it's just natural and it'll just wear away with time, and it won't damage any of your threads anyway. But you can see here where I haven't waxed and here where I've waxed, this makes work. And when I was making this one, I made sure everything was waxed, because then it just worked a lot better. So again, I'll do another overhand knot. So if you see, or it's a what did I call it before, what's this called, a blanket stitch. Oh, dementia. Okay, so I'm going to just go over my finger and cross over the top of the thread. So you see I'm making like a loop on top. So I just go over and put it between those two beads. And you can see there the loop is sitting between the two beads. I just hold it in place with my finger, come up the back, and you can see this is working as one thread now, so it's much easier than two threads down here. Pull it through, and then I usually keep holding it and have a peep as I pull it, and just have a peep that it's going to go in between those two beads where I want it to be. And then I've pulled it up tight, and you can see there's my knot in between the two beads. So you can just do that. If you can go back through the few times, you can do that a couple of times. Finally, just put a little bit of glue at the end, and then as I've done here, just trim it really close to the bead. And I used my you can either use your cutters or your scissors that come in your kit. They're really fine. You can get in really close. Once you've glued it, and I used just good old super glue, but I used the gel because it soaks into the thread, and if you also put it, like I'll glue in here, and I'll use like a little toothpick or something. What do you call them here? Cocktail sticks or a toothpick. And I'll just hold these apart, just glue in there, but I'll also glue up here as well. And by doing that, that will make this go really hard so that I can then come in and cut it right up there, and it's not going to be a problem. So literally, that's how I made this. So as you can see, this is a really simple, easy method for knotting your gemstones. It makes a really beautiful piece of jewellery that you'll treasure and wear, hopefully for many, many years to come, or give as a gift, or if you're going to sell them, then you know you can fetch a good price for them because you have made a proper, legitimate piece of jewellery. So hopefully, I'm sorry, 1 second. What?
Well, if you're talking about using proper, legitimate jewellery, you can see there's like all sorts of different stones.
Yes, okay. Well, Matthew's just told me to remind you that we have got many, many different stones. Now, I'll just have a little chat to you about our stones. I have spent the last 15 to 20 years sourcing gemstones. I travel, and I haven't unfortunately been able to do that for the last year or so, but I travel and I hand pick every gemstone. There is not one gemstone that I have bought online without seeing it first, without having it in my hands, and without choosing it. And my motto is, if I don't sell it to you, I get to keep it. So basically, all of my stones are beautiful quality, and I'm happy to use them myself. And you can make yourself some beautiful jewelry. There are the gemstones, you don't have to be afraid. Some of them are very inexpensive because there's varying ranges of gemstones, and there's varying quality of gemstones. And I have chosen for you the best quality I can at a reasonable price, but there's also a few in there which are a little bit more expensive because they are really, really special.
Let's have a look, shall we? I've got one here on the last page. This one's a really fun page. It's all the rainbow coloured beads.
The rainbow coloured beads. So Matthew's just enjoying scrolling through. My husband Andrew is a photographer, and see here, as Matthew's showing you, these are actually sapphires and ruby beads. So they're a little bit more expensive than some of the others. So, there's a whole range of gemstones there. And don't forget, you get £25 off.
Which I'll show the codes actually. Here we go.
So there's codes that you can...
I'll show you how it works on the thing.
Okay. How does it work, Matthew? Because I have no idea.
So the code is on the right there.
Okay. So you've got your codes to use out at the checkout. So if you spend 25, you get £5 off. Gem 5. Okay. 50, gem 10. Spend 75, you get £15. And if you spend £100, you get £25 off, which is pretty much 25% off. And I don't know if Matthew told you, but the reason he wanted to give 25% off the gemstones is because we have hit over 25,000 people on our YouTube channel. So thank you very much for all of you that have been viewing our YouTube videos, and that's why we're doing the 25% off. I will also tell you another secret, which, if I can tell them, that August is going to be our big summer sale month. So we're starting with gemstones, but look out, there'll be lots more sale items to come as the month progresses, but I didn't tell you that. So anyway, so I think that's about it.
I'll show you how to use the coupon code, just in case you've never done it before.
Okay, Matthew's going to show you how to use the coupon code.
Here it is.
I have no idea about these things because I have no technology in me whatsoever.
So you can see, if you have a look, you can get however many gemstones that you like, and then as per the codes, these ones just here, if you've got £100 worth of gemstones in your basket, use the code GEM25. If you've got £75 worth, use GEM15, and so forth. So because I've got the rubies here, I really like these ones, which, as Jermaine was saying, if you're wanting to, especially if you're selling your jewellery, you only need to use 1 or 2 or 3 little beads, and they go quite a long way. But then you've got the name of, hey, this is natural ruby in here. But anyway, so if you have a look on this little page, underneath where it says the checkout, you come in here, and down the bottom there's a little coupon code. See that flashing? So if you use the code GEM25, because I've got over £100 here, if I click proceed to checkout, whoops, wrong button. Wrong button. If I say apply coupon, that's the one I meant to do. Apply the coupon, and then there you go, straight away, £25 removed. So instead of 129, there are only 104. I should actually, don't forget, if you're in the UK, if you're logged in, you get free postage as well, as long as you're spending over £10. If you're in the US, which you can make the currency whichever one. If you're in the US, it should be automatically in dollars. If you're in Europe, it should automatically be in euros. But if not, you can change it up there, and then you can see it makes all of those changes for you. And the coupons, it's still £25 worth, but it's actually, I guess, $36 in that one there. So yeah, it works out very, very great savings when you use those little coupon codes. So I'll just show them on the screen one last time, just in case. So if you're spending £25, it's GEM5, £50, GEM10, and you save a tenner. GEM15 saves you £15, and GEM25, which is the biggest saving, 25% off essentially, is GEM25.
One thing I would like to say is I have been nagging Matthew for months to get US dollars on the website. Now, I don't know if he told you, one of the main benefits to you for being able to use your euros if you're in Europe, like in Ireland, or we have people from Sweden and Germany that buy from us, and Belgium, everywhere, or if you're in the States, you can pay in your local currency and you don't get the international bank fees which you would have been getting in the past. So I've been nagging Matthew to get this done for months, and now it's finally done. It was actually quite a mammoth task for us to do, but the nice thing is if you're buying in dollars or in euros, or in pounds for that matter, if you're in the UK, you're not getting hit with international fees. So I'm glad my nagging paid off and we finally got it. So I'm so thrilled that we can do that. And I'm actually thrilled that we can finally, it's another thing I've been nagging my husband for years, to get all our beautiful gemstones onto the website. And I am so thrilled that I can finally bring you all my beautiful quality gemstones for you to see and to enjoy. So I think that's about it for today. So although I started off quite shaky, losing my thread and running around and not finding beads, hopefully you've seen how easy it is to knot gemstones and to play with the beads. Don't forget, if you want to learn the traditional Japanese method, which uses no tools, if you're just making a shorter strand, then watch my pearl knotting video, which is my other method that I use. But I think you'll find that this is a fun, easy method, and you can have lots and lots of fun making your gemstone necklaces. So that's all for me. Goodbye for now, and that's all from him. So thank you very much, everyone. Is anyone still here listening with us?
Yeah, of course. There's
I
still
can
plenty
see
of people.
Kay Tab, hi Kay. Oh, Colleen Rowe, hello. Tracy is still here. Who else have we
Doris
still? Oh,
is still
Doris,
here.
hi Doris.
Yeah.
Who else have we got?
I don't know. We haven't got too many. Robin's here as well.
Robin as well. Okay.
Susan.
Lovely.
Do you sell those size needles? Yes, they're on the website as well.
Yes, we've got
Size
size
9,
9 needles, and
not
we
10.
have the size 10. We still got size 10 on the website, haven't we?
I think we have
Yes,
very few
we've just
left.
been waiting
The
for
11s are
our
due today.
shipment. Yeah, the shipment's due of all our new needles, the 11s and so forth. But the size 9, we have plenty of size 9, and they're a good strong needle. We've also got the split needles if you need a needle for the thread. And Kay says thank you, and love the necklace. Thank you. I know I shall wear it myself.
Pop it on now.
I'll pop it on. It doesn't go. It won't go with this top. Oh, might do.
Might do.
Might do.
It's kind of the right vibe.
It's almost. You can't see it really.
You just need to sit up a little more.
Anyway, my new gemstone necklace. Okay, so thanks very much, everyone, and thank you for watching. And we will see you next Friday. Are we on next Friday?
We'll see.
We may be having a little bit of a break over August, but we'll let you know anyway. Don't forget to join the group. There's lots of fun things going on in the group, and the competition's only got 2 weeks to go. So if you want to be in that competition, you've got to be in it to win it. We've already had a couple of nice entries, so please join our Facebook group, Bead Spider Facebook group or something.
I'll put it in the comments.
I'll put it in the comments. Okay, well, thank you very much, everyone. And Matthew will see you next time. Or maybe me. We don't know. Bye for now.